My girlfriend said, real couples share everything, including passwords, when I refused to give her my Instagram login. I said I understand. When she started messaging my female coworkers with threats to stay away from her man, I used her exact words about sharing everything in court. She called me cruel while begging me not to file the restraining order. I, 27 male, need to get this off my chest because what started as cute interest in my social media turned into a 2-month stalking nightmare that required legal intervention, and honestly, the escalation still shocks me. This whole mess started 6 months ago when I began dating Presley. She was charming, funny, and seemed genuinely interested in my life. Too interested, as it turned out. Week 1 was normal. She'd like my Instagram posts, comment sweet things, typical new relationship social media behavior. But by week 2, the questions started. Who's Jessica in your tagged photos? She's a coworker. We had a team building event last month. She's really pretty. Are you attracted to her? Presley, she's married with 2 kids. We work together. I'm just asking. You can tell me if you find other women attractive. Red flag number 1, but I thought she was just insecure about being in a new relationship. Week 3, the demands started. Can I see your Instagram messages? Why? I want to know who you're talking to. Real couples share everything, including passwords. I'm not comfortable sharing my passwords. That's private. Private from your girlfriend. What are you hiding? I'm not hiding anything. I just value personal boundaries. She got that pouty look. I shared my passwords with you. She had offered her passwords unsolicited during week 2. I declined because I wasn't interested in monitoring her communications. I didn't ask for your passwords and I don't need them. But I want yours. It would make me feel more secure in our relationship. Security through surveillance. That should have been my cue to end things, but I was falling for her. She was affectionate, attentive when not being suspicious, and we had great chemistry. I thought the insecurity would fade as trust built. I was wrong. Month 2, the monitoring escalated. Presley would screenshot my Instagram activity and question every interaction. You liked Sarah's vacation photo. Why? Because she's my friend and it was a nice sunset picture. You don't usually like landscape photos. I like supporting my friends' posts. Sarah again, you mention her a lot. Sarah was my coworker and friend. We'd known each other for 3 years, worked on projects together, grabbed lunch occasionally. Completely platonic relationship. Presley, Sarah is a friend. I'm allowed to have female friends. Of course you are. I just think it's interesting that you're more active on her posts than mine lately. I wasn't. But Presley was tracking my social media engagement like a data analyst. She'd created spreadsheets. Actual spreadsheets tracking who I followed, unfollowed, liked, commented on. Color-coded by gender and relationship status. This is concerning behavior, I told her during a particularly intense interrogation about why I'd liked a coworker's promotion announcement. Caring about my boyfriend's relationships is concerning. Tracking my social media activity in spreadsheets is concerning. I'm detail-oriented. That's not a crime. Detail-oriented. She was calling obsessive surveillance detail-oriented. Month 3, I discovered the fake accounts. My ex-girlfriend Emma called me out of the blue. Blake, is your new girlfriend okay? Someone's been harassing me online. What do you mean? This account called Truth Teller 2024 has been commenting on my posts for weeks. Really nasty stuff about my appearance, my job, calling me a pathetic ex trying to get attention. What makes you think it's connected to Presley? The comments reference things only you would know, like my fear of heights, my cat's name, inside jokes from when we dated. I investigated the account. Truth Teller 2024 had been created 2 months ago. All activity focused on commenting negatively on my ex-girlfriend's posts. Emma, my ex from college, desperate for attention as always. Rachel, my ex from last year. Some people never learn to move on. Even my friend Katie, who I'd casually dated twice, trying too hard to look happy since Blake upgraded. The comments referenced personal details only I would know about these women. Details I'd shared with Presley during conversations about my dating history. When I confronted Presley, she denied everything. I don't know anything about fake accounts. The comments include information I only told you. Maybe your exes are creating fake accounts to cause problems in our relationship. All of them, coordinated, to frame you specifically. Crazy exes do crazy things. But I knew. The writing style, the specific details, the timing. Presley was cyberbullying my ex-girlfriends. Month 4, the location tracking started. How was your lunch with the guys? Good. We went to that new burger place downtown. Which one? I thought you said you were meeting at the office. We decided to walk to the restaurant instead. Your location showed you were at Murphy's Pub for 20 minutes before the restaurant. My location. She'd been tracking my location. Are you monitoring my phone's location? Find my iPhone. You shared it with me, remember? I had shared it during month 1 for practical reasons, in case of emergencies or if one of us lost our phone. That's for emergencies, not daily surveillance. I just like knowing you're safe. You like knowing where I am every minute of every day. Is that wrong? I worry about you. It's controlling, Presley. Normal people don't track their partners 24/7. Normal people don't mind their girlfriends caring about their safety. She was reframing surveillance as caring, control as concern. That weekend, I turned off location sharing. She noticed within hours. Your location isn't showing up. I turned it off. Why? Because I need some privacy and space to breathe. Space to breathe? What does that mean? It means I feel suffocated by constant monitoring and I need you to dial it back. Big mistake. Asking Presley to dial back her surveillance triggered nuclear-level escalation. Week 1 after the space conversation, my coworker Sarah showed me something that changed everything. Blake, I need to show you something concerning. She pulled out her phone, opened Instagram DMs. Someone sent me this yesterday. The message was from an account called Blake's Real GF. The profile picture was a cropped photo of Presley. Stay away from Blake. He has a girlfriend who loves him and doesn't appreciate work wives trying to interfere. Find your own man instead of sniffing around mine. This is your only warning. Sarah, I'm so sorry. This is completely unacceptable. There's more. She showed me additional messages. Threats about consequences if Sarah didn't respect boundaries. Warnings about Blake being taken and Sarah needing to back off before things get ugly. She's messaging all the women in our office, Sarah said. Jessica got similar threats, so did Amanda from accounting. My girlfriend was threatening my female coworkers with violence for working with me. I'm ending this relationship today, I told Sarah. Are you sure you're safe? These messages are pretty aggressive. I'll handle it carefully. That evening I broke up with Presley. I'd prepared for the conversation by documenting everything, screenshots of the fake accounts, her threatening messages to coworkers, evidence of the obsessive tracking. We need to talk. About what? She asked, but her expression showed she already knew. About the messages you've been sending to my coworkers. What messages? I showed her the screenshots from Sarah. Her face went white. I was protecting our relationship. You were threatening people I work with. They need to respect boundaries. The only person violating boundaries is you. You've been cyberbullying my exes, threatening my coworkers, and tracking my location obsessively. I was being a good girlfriend. I was fighting for us. You were being controlling and abusive. This relationship is over. She started crying. Real tears, but also immediate manipulation. Blake, please, I can change. I'll stop checking your social media. You'll stop because I'm changing all my passwords and blocking you on everything. You can't break up with me over caring too much. I'm breaking up with you for harassment, stalking, and threats. Caring too much doesn't involve threatening people. I never threatened anyone. I read her message to Sarah aloud. This is your only warning. Back off before things get ugly. That's not a threat, that's a boundary. That's a threat of violence, and it's going to stop now. I asked her to pack her things that she'd left at my apartment. She took her time, crying dramatically, trying to engage me in relationship negotiations. Real couples work through problems. Real couples don't threaten each other's coworkers. I was just protecting what's mine. I'm not yours, I'm not anyone's possession. She left that night, but the harassment was just beginning. Update 1. The stalking behavior escalated immediately after the breakup. Within 24 hours, Presley had created multiple new Instagram accounts to follow me and my friends. When I blocked those, she'd create more. She started showing up places. My gym, my favorite coffee shop, the grocery store I used, always with plausible excuses. I'm just working out, this isn't your gym. I've always loved this coffee shop. I need groceries too. I can't help that we shop at the same store. But the timing was too convenient. She'd appear minutes after I arrived, stay just long enough to make eye contact, then leave. My coworkers reported continued harassment. New accounts messaging them with increasingly aggressive content. Blake made a mistake leaving someone who actually loved him. You vultures are probably celebrating, but he'll realize what he lost. Some people don't know how to respect relationships even after they end. Sarah forwarded me everything. The messages were getting darker, more personal, more threatening. I'm documenting all of this, Sarah said. This is workplace harassment. Week 2 post-breakup, Presley escalated to my friends and family. She messaged my sister on Facebook. Blake is making terrible decisions about who he spends time with. I'm worried about his judgment lately. She contacted my college roommate. Blake's been acting strange since we broke up. I think his coworkers are influencing him negatively. She even reached out to my mom. I'm concerned about Blake's mental health. He's been very paranoid and suspicious lately. My family was confused and concerned. My mom called asking if I was okay, if I needed to talk to someone about paranoia. Mom, Presley is lying. She's been stalking me since we broke up. Stalking? That seems extreme, honey. She's threatening my coworkers, following me around town, and now she's manipulating my family. That's stalking. Week 3, I started documenting everything systematically. Photos of her showing up at my locations, screenshots of her fake accounts, copies of her messages to coworkers and family. I also installed a security camera at my apartment after finding evidence someone had been on my balcony. Week 4, the security camera caught her trying to break in. 2:30 a.m. Tuesday night. Clear footage of Presley using what looked like a credit card to try to jimmy my sliding door lock. She spent 15 minutes attempting to break in before giving up. I called the police immediately. Sir, do you have a restraining order against this person? Not yet. I didn't think it was necessary. Based on this footage and your documentation, I'd recommend filing for one immediately. Friday morning, I filed for a restraining order. Presented 2 months of evidence, threatening messages to coworkers, stalking behavior, attempted break-in footage, fake social media accounts. The judge granted a temporary restraining order immediately. This demonstrates a clear pattern of harassment and escalating behavior, the judge said. The defendant is prohibited from contacting the petitioner or anyone associated with him, including coworkers and family members. When Presley was served with the restraining order, she violated it within 24 hours. She called me from a friend's phone, crying and begging. Blake, please, I just want to talk. This restraining order is ruining my life. You ruined your life by stalking me for 2 months. I wasn't stalking. I was trying to win you back. By threatening my coworkers and trying to break into my apartment. I never tried to break in, I was just checking if you were okay. At 2:30 a.m. with a credit card trying to pick the lock. You're being dramatic. I hung up and reported the violation to police. Update 2. This will be my final update because the situation finally resolved. Presley was arrested for violating the restraining order. The combination of documented harassment, attempted break-in, and restraining order violation resulted in serious charges. Stalking in the second degree, harassment, attempted burglary, cyber harassment, and violation of a court order. Her lawyer tried to argue she was just a heartbroken ex-girlfriend who made poor choices. The prosecutor disagreed. The defendant engaged in a systematic campaign of harassment affecting the victim's workplace, family relationships, and personal safety. This goes far beyond heartbreak into criminal behavior. The evidence was overwhelming. 2 months of documented stalking, dozens of threatening messages, video evidence of attempted break-in, multiple restraining order violations. Presley took a plea deal. 6 months in county jail, 2 years probation, mandatory counseling for stalking behavior, and a permanent restraining order. This court takes domestic harassment seriously, the judge said during sentencing. The defendant's behavior demonstrates a clear threat to public safety. During her jail time, I learned from mutual friends that this wasn't Presley's first stalking incident. She'd harassed her previous boyfriend's coworkers, created fake accounts to monitor his ex-girlfriends, and been asked to leave his workplace for threatening behavior. I wasn't her first victim. I was just the first one to document everything and involve law enforcement. The restraining order remains in effect for 5 years. Presley is prohibited from contacting me, my family, my coworkers, or anyone associated with me through any means. My workplace implemented additional security measures after learning about the harassment. They also provided training about recognizing and reporting stalking behavior. Sarah and I remained good friends throughout the ordeal. She testified about the threatening messages and supported my decision to involve law enforcement. Too many people tolerate this behavior because they don't want to seem dramatic, she said. But threats are threats whether they come from strangers or ex-girlfriends. I'm dating someone new now. Lisa works in a different industry, values independence, and thinks tracking your partner's social media activity is weird and unhealthy. I want to know about your day because I care about you, she told me early in our relationship. Not because I want to monitor your every interaction. The difference is remarkable. Lisa trusts me to have female friends, doesn't demand my passwords, and doesn't track my location. We share our lives voluntarily, not through surveillance. Looking back, the red flags were obvious from week 2. The password demands, the social media monitoring, the spreadsheets tracking my online activity. But I explained away each escalation as insecurity that would improve with time. I thought love meant tolerating someone's quirks, even when those quirks involved cyberbullying and stalking. I learned that healthy relationships are built on trust, not surveillance. That caring about someone doesn't justify controlling them. That asking for space shouldn't trigger nuclear retaliation. Most importantly, I learned that documentation saves lives. Every screenshot, every photo, every recorded incident became crucial evidence when Presley's behavior escalated to criminal levels. The legal system worked. Law enforcement took the harassment seriously, prosecutors pursued appropriate charges, and the court imposed meaningful consequences. Presley learned that obsessive surveillance isn't love, it's abuse. That threatening people's coworkers has legal consequences. That violating restraining orders results in jail time. Would I do anything differently? File for the restraining order sooner. I spent 2 months hoping she'd stop on her own instead of protecting myself legally. But I'm glad I documented everything systematically. Those screenshots and videos made the difference between her word against mine and an overwhelming evidence file that prosecutors couldn't ignore. Sometimes people who claim to love you are actually trying to control you. Sometimes caring behavior is actually surveillance behavior. Sometimes the person monitoring your every move is the person you need to be protected from. Trust your instincts. Document everything. Don't tolerate behavior that makes you feel suffocated or controlled. And remember that real love doesn't require passwords, location tracking, or threatening other people. Have you ever dealt with a controlling partner who demanded access to your social media? What's the most obsessive behavior you've encountered in a relationship? Share below. And if you want more stories about recognizing and escaping controlling relationships, hit that subscribe button. What would you do if your partner started tracking your location 24/7? How do you balance transparency with privacy in relationships? Let me know in the comments.